and welcome to Garbage Theater.
Tonight's installment, The Asian Connection.
Welcome, folks, to another episode of Garbage Theater. I'm your host, Chase, with my co-host, Blake.
Yes, sir.
Let's get the shit show on the road.
I am so
first
happy
of all,
this week, by the way.
no, why is that?
Because it's like no pressure at all. It's wonderful. I gotta win more often.
Yeah, it's nice.
Now I see why you enjoy winning so much.
Oh yeah, you just you come into it just whatever.
Yeah, it's like nothing. Who cares? It's great.
Yeah. Well, we do need to address a little bit of business before we get started with the episode.
Talk shop, as the youngsters say.
Yes. Netflix decided to change their rating system, which is the crux of how we decide what we watch on this show. So we're going to have to do things a little differently from here out because, as most people know, Netflix got rid of their star ratings. I'm assuming because they were embarrassed that 90% of their library had 2 stars or less.
I guess.
So they now work on a percentage system, but it's not percentage of people liked it. It's the percentage chance that you're going to like it based on what you've watched. So,
which means Seagal movies are in the 90% for us.
Yeah. Any garbage movie is now like 98% for me whenever I look at it. So I don't know what to believe on Netflix anymore.
No. I really think that Netflix caught wind of us like basing a whole crappy movie show on their rating system. And they like went into abort mode and was like, "Oh, we gotta do something." Yeah. And bada bing, bada boom, that's what you end up with.
Yeah. So now that we can't use Netflix, what I did was I went and I looked up all the movies we've previously watched, and I got an average on IMDb.
Okay.
So the average star rating on IMDb is 4.5 stars.
Okay.
So let's, from here on out, just go with, it has to be readily available on Netflix to watch, but it has to have an IMDb score of 4.5 stars or less.
Sounds good to me. And at first I was a little worried about this, but we know what crappy movies are.
Yes.
And it really isn't that hard to find.
It's not hard to sniff them out.
Yeah.
So
anything with verses in the middle of the title, you can go ahead and say that's going to be one of them.
So we got that little bit of business out of the way. So let's get to today's episode of The Asian Connection. And thank you so much for forcing me to sit through this. I just finished this movie. I didn't start watching it till this afternoon, and I watched it in about 3 sittings.
Well, I finished it this afternoon, and it you know how you watch crappy movies, how everything's very cliche and all that? Yeah. This isn't even that.
This is beyond cliche.
The ending, it was just like, what? Yeah, that doesn't even make sense.
We're going to get into it.
There's so many inaccuracies, including mathematical ones that I have extended notes on.
Okay, so before we do that, let's get our stakes out of the way.
Yeah, you get to go first this time.
I get to go first this time. Imagine that.
Yeah.
So, okay. So for this week, as we just said, it does have verses in the middle.
Oh, wonderful.
So you know it's going to be a jolly good romp.
That's right.
My pick of the week is the 2015 Cowboys versus Dinosaurs.
Ooh.
Yeehaw!
That sounds wonderful.
2.7 stars on IMDb.
Damn.
Absolutely no tomato meter available. And it probably had a good 86% match for me on Netflix. So that's the way that's going nowadays. Little synopsis. After an accidental explosion at a local mine, dinosaurs emerged from the rubble to terrorize a small western town. Now a group of gunslingers must defend their home if anyone is going to survive in a battle of cowboys versus dinosaurs.
Okay.
And now if you're thinking that this is going to be like, a period piece with like, the Old West. No. This is just current day rednecks.
Ah. So they use the term cowboy loosely.
Yes. And gunslinger loosely also.
Oh, okay. Dinosaur loosely?
Yeah. Probably. Once you watch the trailer, yeah. Review headlines. Wonderfully awful.
Okay.
Predictably corny. And my personal favorite, well...
I like that one.
Starring no one of note.
Ah. He's been a few of our pictures.
Yeah. So that's what I'm bringing to the table today.
A guy named No One from a land named Note. No one of note. All right.
So what you got for me?
I'm going to read the summary of it first.
Okay.
When former Black Ops operative Cross and his partner Manning are assigned to decommission an old prison, they must oversee the arrival of two mysterious female prisoners. Before long, an elite force of mercenaries assault the prison in search of the new arrivals. As the true identities of the women are revealed, Cross realizes he's caught in the middle of something far bigger than what he had imagined.
Okay.
So, this had a 4.9 on IMDb.
Oh,
so
reaching high.
Yeah, and 33% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Ooh.
This is Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Oh,
along
yes.
with Sir Steven Seagal.
Come on.
Maximum Conviction is
I
what
can't,
we're gonna. Yes,
I can't do any more Seagal.
Well, get ready.
This movie killed me on Seagal.
Oh, wait. Just wait. So these are my 3 reviews that I found. Steven Seagal looks less like Steven Seagal and more like the monster that ate Steven Seagal. The second one was Plop. I can't stand this stupid... I don't know what plop was. Like, I just thought that was funny.
It just starts off with plop.
Yeah, plop.
That's all he really needed to say.
But they went on. Plop. I can't stand this stupid whisper of his, and I'm sick of the slap fighting that we're supposed to believe is Aikido. And the third one, Seagal is too OP. So, 2012's Maximum Conviction.
Yay.
I knew I was going to throw you off when I first said Stone Cold, like you thought you were safe, but no, you wasn't.
And I can't wait because I am not confident going into the quiz this week. Because I didn't. There's maybe 2 softball questions in here. Oh no.
Because I realized my questions are too easy. I went back and did research, and I'm like, I'm not even asking hard questions. That's my problem. So,
well, I've got a couple names of places and things in my head. Luckily, because I just watched this damn thing, some of it's still fresh.
Well, good thing, because none of them are names of places or things.
Son of a bitch.
That's too easy. That's my problem before.
That's pretty much all I like focused on watching this.
Well, are you ready to get us started?
Yeah, let's get it over with.
Okay, let me start off with a softball question.
Okay.
What did Avalon do for work when you first meet her in the movie?
She's a cigarette girl.
Yes, correct. That was softball question number 1. Softball question number 2. No. Never mind. We're going to save that one. What was the number on the front of Jack's motorbike?
Oh, shit. I looked at this, and I didn't think that you would ask that. I want to say it was 3 digits.
It was 3 digits.
I'm going to say it was 101.
It was 101.
Oh, my God. I pulled that out of my ass.
Yeah, I was going to be like really technical because the second one was backwards, but I was like, no, I'm not going to.
Oh, wow.
So here we go. Here's some hard ones. When Seagal's character, which nobody knows what his name was, they said it, but they said it too quickly for you to know what the hell they were talking about.
I know what his name was.
What was it? That's not a question, by the way.
It's not a question. It was Gan was his first name.
Oh, that makes sense.
Saren Siri.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, anyway.
Gan Saren Siri.
When Seagal's character is pruning the rose bushes outside.
I knew you were going to ask me about the fucking flower.
What type of rose was it?
Oh, fuck. That's the one, and this is one of the things where that scene went by, and I was too busy rolling my eyes at him. And then that scene was over, and I said, I probably should have remembered what that fucking flower was. And I said, I ain't rewinding it to find out that crap. I'm not watching any more of this movie than I have to. Well, it was some kind of climbing thing. I remember he said that. He said it was a common climbing thing. It was a common thing that his mother used to grow or some crap. Ugh.
Are you passing or you just want to stall some more?
I'm going to pass. Let's see what happens.
All right. Whenever Seagal's character meets up with the kickboxer who was in the bank, how many fighters did Seagal knock out?
3.
Damn it.
It's done.
You got it.
It's done.
You got it.
Let
me see if I should have went with this other one.
Yeah.
Let me see if I should have went with this other question. How much money did they get away with from their first job?
200,000 American.
Yeah, you would have gotten it.
Yep. 200,000 American, and then later they got $500,000. And then
that's part of my thing. They got 200,000 first. Then the subsequent jobs, the guy said there would be more money than the first job.
And they just doubled it.
No, but by the end of the movie, they had robbed 4 or 5 banks, and they had only taken $500,000 total from Seagal.
Yeah.
So that doesn't mathematically work out, especially when you get to the end of the movie and he says there's $1 million in the bank.
Yeah. We will talk about all of this.
Okay.
So
good job.
Okay, the quiz is done. I passed by the skin of my ass.
Yeah, we're going to be watching Cowboys.
We're watching
Dinosaurs.
Cowboys and Dinosaurs for the finale. For the finale of season 1 Garbage Theater, we're watching Cowboys vs. Dinosaurs. Fantastic.
That sounds good.
So okay, let's get right into it. Asian Connection.
Oh boy.
This the pacing of this movie was clumsy. The fight choreography in this movie was clumsy. The audio mix of this movie was clumsy.
Dude,
the audio was dog shit.
It was. Like how it would fade in and out whenever Seagal would talk.
Whatever they recorded is what they used. Like on scene. Whatever sound the camera picked up, that's what's in the movie.
And if there was background noise behind the dialogue, that was fine because we're just going to mute it after the person's done talking.
Yeah. Bad. Bad.
All right, well.
So we open up with the voiceover of Avalon. You know, that name's like Susan over in Thailand.
Yeah, that's a typical Thai name right there, Avalon.
You know, all Thai women are named Avalon.
Yeah.
Doing a voiceover talking about her living a fairy tale life, and but every fairy tale has a monster, a big fat butterscotch colored monster.
A big fat butterscotch colored monster that ate Steven Seagal.
So this movie doesn't waste any time getting to old Waddles himself.
Waddles.
as he waddles into the scene. I couldn't. Was he trying to do an accent at the beginning of this and then gave up halfway through?
That's exactly what happened.
Because
that is
in
there
the
is no
first
doubt.
few scenes with him, he definitely has an accent, but at the end, it's just him.
Yeah, there was no doubt in my mind. He gave up.
Yeah.
And it was like somebody told him, "Hey, you're gonna play a bad guy this movie. So are you ready to do that?" And he's like, "Yeah, I'll just say motherfucker a lot."
Yeah.
And
that's my character.
That was it, because that's exactly what he did, and it was so forced for him saying it.
Yeah.
It was weird. And it was funny all at the same time too, because you knew exactly when it was going to come. It was like whenever a kid moves out of his parents' house and he can finally curse freely, so he uses every chance he can. You told me my motherfucking money was going to be safe in that motherfucking bank, and it's like, stop, Jude, just stop.
So he's meeting up in this little Thai delicatessen.
Yes.
He's meeting this hat wearing guy. What was he there for? Because I was too busy observing just him.
I think
to know why he was there.
I think it had something to do with territories being infringed upon.
Yeah, lines in the sand.
Yeah.
And so some threats get tossed back and forth, and the man in the hat. Let's just say the man in the big yellow hat. That's who he's going to be now.
Yes.
He says that there's not room in Cambodia for the both of us, so one of us is going to have to die. And
no, that isn't what he said. That's what Seagal said. So that means one of us has to die.
Oh yeah, that's right. He says that. To which I was like, "Can one of you just leave?"
Yeah.
Does it have to go to the death?
Is it a weight issue? Because I'm trying.
So, the man in the yellow hat says, okay, well, if it's going to come to that, it's going to come to a fight. To which Seagal says, well, I'm at a disadvantage because you're, and I quote, this is exactly what he said, "You're a master of the knives and the swords."
Yes.
Not just you're a master of knives and swords, the knives and the swords.
We would have also taken edged weapons.
So the knives and the swords and the hula hoops and the fax machines and all these things these kids are doing nowadays.
And this here battle axe.
And then the fight actually starts. And do you get to see the mastery.
He got up and fought somebody.
He moves more in this movie than he has in the last 10 years combined in his regular life.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely.
He has this masterful, almost ballet-like knife fight with this guy. With this old man. Let's just call him what he is. He's an old man.
Yes. He calls him old friend, but not because they're old friends, because he's old.
Yes. And it looks like they're just swatting at flies in front of each other's face with the knives.
And the stock sound of wind whooshing and blades connecting that was so overused. It was as if they had those two sounds on a keyboard and just told a cat to run across the keyboard.
Now, it's just this clumsy mastery of fighting, and you get some nice wide shots of the action to where you see all of Mr. Seagal.
Hence them being wide shots.
Yeah. But bum.
Am I being too hard on his weight? Because it isn't like I'm the pinnacle of health.
No. Well, you're also not claiming to be, a master of everything under the sun. So I think we can let that slide.
Are we gonna have to tag him on Twitter and like challenge him to an exhibition?
I don't know.
Don't do it. Don't do it. It's the last thing I need.
He looks, because unlike in Sniper when we watched, he doesn't have all the ammo packs and satchels and things around his girth to hide it.
No.
He's wearing his whatever you call that, his silken garb that he wears and everything. And there's you can't hide how big he is.
He tries though, because he constantly keeps like, and it's just because I'm not the pinnacle of health. I know these things. He keeps pulling that fat guy move, where you hold the bottom of your shirt down so it doesn't ten out like a balloon. Like he does that through the whole movie. And what's sad is, like I look at it, I'm like, oh, I know what that feels like. Poor little fella.
Because he's just like from his shoulders down. It's just like a barrel.
Yeah.
And it's like, in the cartoons where the guy, he's got nothing left, so he puts the barrel with the shoulder straps on. Mm-hmm. It's like that happened to Seagal, but then he decided to just go with it and just dress around the barrel.
Yeah. And it's not a wooden barrel. It's like a gooey barrel. It's made of Swedish fish.
Yeah. So he kills the guy in a masterful duel, and then we go into the credits.
Right.
Credits with the montage of two guys on motorcycles, which we come to find out is our protagonist and his friend Sam. Right. Jack and Sam. Mm-hmm. They're bank robbers. It opens up with them about to rob a bank. They rob the bank, and it's the easiest bank robbery in history.
It is easier than the first bank robbery you do on Grand Theft Auto 5.
Yeah.
But almost the same exact layout as that bank.
Yeah.
If you really think about it.
They walk in. There's a person behind the counter. They say to them, get down. You go around the counter. The safe is right there. They open it. It's like a closet. Mm-hmm. It's got a very minimal amount of money in it.
Right.
So they steal the money. They get out. They book it back to their hideout / lobster shanty.
Yes.
And they're going through it, and Sam's just blown away by how much money they got.
Right.
Now, at this point, you don't know how much they stole. But they're making it seem like it's an obscene amount of money.
Yes. To
where they're never going to be able to get across the border with it. They're going to search the bag, so we need to duct tape it to ourselves. And Sam's like, "Are you crazy? You think we can duct tape this amount of money to our bodies?" And they do it. And in the next scene when they're crossing the border, they don't look any different. Like they're not bulk. They don't look like Seagal. Like I can believe he's smuggling around some money.
You don't think they're actually going to tape anything to him just to film that, do you?
Well, they could have stuffed them up a little bit.
No.
But
it
comes to find out it's only $200,000.
Correct.
Which, when you're doing like a bank heist movie where you're stealing money from a big drug kingpin, that seems like it would be a drop in the water for them.
That's the other thing. Seagal has this massive compound, all these men working for him, and he lost his shit at the loss of $200,000.
$200,000.
Now, don't get me wrong. You should be upset, yes, but it was like this was tanking his whole operation as far as he was concerned.
Yeah. So they get through the border. And by the way, we forgot to say in that first scene with him, when he's back in his little group, his contractually obligated girl to paw all over is there.
Boy, that poor girl. Rules must be pretty lax over there in Thailand. This poor thing.
She had no lines, if I remember correctly.
None.
And there were little interjected scenes with her where it's just him doing stuff to her.
Yeah.
That contributed nothing to the movie at all. There's one
it's really
scene where
creepy.
It is. Like, again, what does poor Batsuck think of this?
Look, Batsuck, she would be upset if she was allowed to watch TV. But she's not.
Oh.
As far as she's concerned,
Poor
he's just
sweet innocent Batsuck.
As far as Batsuck's concerned, she just thinks like he's this farmer that farms at a faraway farm. She has no clue that he's in the movies. It's just like, oh, he takes care of me. He makes a lot of money, like selling wheat across the border, and just has no clue that he's really this international superstar. And
superstar, question mark?
Just, no clue. Now, Batsuck ever gets a Netflix subscription, she's gonna be like, "Oh, hold on, what are you doing with your hand all over that girl?" Haven't they told you I'm a llama?
So they get across the board with the money. Jack meets up with his girlfriend, who works as a cigarette girl in like a park or something.
Right.
Which I didn't think even exists anymore. That's like a 1920s job.
Dude, this is Thailand. Have you ever been?
Why, no.
Well, then keep your mouth shut.
Oh, well, I guess I should.
This is a worthwhile profession over there. Jesus.
So he meets
Betty
up with her.
Boop did it, and Who Framed Roger Rabbit? You didn't bat an eye, but now Avalon can't do it in this. Hypocrite.
So they meet up. They go back to Jack's place, and he shows her the money that they stole. His share, his 100,000 of the 200,000.
Correct.
To which she then asked, where did you come by $100,000, Jack?
Right.
To which he responds,
"This is this is the beginning of my what the hell is wrong with this chick?"
Yes.
That will be going through the whole movie.
Oh yeah. So where would you just stumble across $100,000 in cash in a duffel bag?
And he's like, "Don't worry about it." And she says, "Okay."
He's like, "Don't worry about it." He's like, "Oh, you silly."
Yeah.
You're such a character.
He goes to take a shower. She finds a gun in the bag, and when he comes back, she's like, "What's the gun for?" And he's like, "Don't ask me about it." Okay.
Yeah, that's normal.
Yeah.
Let me do you in the pile of money.
She literally says, "Do me on top of all this money." Like, that is the line in the movie. Like, somebody wrote a script that says, "Do me on all this money."
Yeah. So, she's a well-adjusted girl, is what we're trying to get to.
Right.
So,
another thing, Batsuck would be like, "Hold on."
Yeah.
There's that much money. You have that much money that we could have been doing on it instead of this random pile of sticks.
This pile of sticks in our yurt that you make me live in. So now we then cut to another pointless scene with Mr. Seagal and his pawing partner, where he's explaining flowers to her.
Right.
Where I should have been paying attention, but I didn't because I was too busy just, oh my God, he's an expert on frickin' flowers now.
Mm-hmm. What was the name of the flower?
I don't know.
It was the Rose of Compassion.
That's not a thing.
It is.
I'm sure he thinks it's a thing.
Well, I'll tell you what, people. Remember that name because it does come up later in the movie.
Does it?
Yes, it does. Carry on.
Ugh. No, we'll get to it. Actually, no, I do have a note here. She does speak because once he starts going on about how his mother used to plant these kind of flowers and she asks him, "Well, do you miss America?" And he said, "Well, no, I came to Asia and I loved it so much I just stayed here. I mean, they give me women to paw all over left and right, so it's a pretty good deal."
It's art imitating life at this point.
Yeah. And Mr. Seagal, America does not miss you. So.
Does it? Because, I don't know, I'm starting to become a fan all over again.
So this is where his right-hand man, what's his name?
Is it Niren or something like that?
Niren. Yeah, Niren. Niren comes in and lets him know that a bank's been robbed. They got away with $200,000 of his money. And it's too much for him to handle.
And he literally says, "Aren't you the motherfucker that told me my motherfucking money would be safe in that motherfucking bank?"
Yeah.
We have to look. Was this film made close to the time of Snakes on a Plane? Because maybe that's his whole basis for the thing.
It's possible.
That's gotta be. There's gotta be a reason behind this.
I don't know. All I know is he looks like he smells like Chef Boyardee. So.
And the keen-eyed observer can actually see the Boyardee stain on his right nipple.
So he tells Niren he's got to get his money back. Jack and Sam are meeting up for lunch, and they're talking about how we got to be smart about this and not spend this money too much and go crazy. And don't be stupid, Sam. And Sam's like, don't you call me stupid. I got a thing about that. Which
that's right.
You think it's going to come back again, and it kind of does, but not really.
Not
really. Jack takes...
don't call me stupid, because when you call me stupid, I feel like catching a bullet in the chest. Oops.
Oops. Spoiler alert. Jack takes Avon calling to a fancy restaurant
Avalon.
Date. I'll call her what I want to, damn it.
No, she's named after the Toyota luxury vehicle. The Avalon.
So, he takes Avalon to a fancy dinner. To which he then says, "We have to start making small deposits of this money into your account. Nothing more than $1,000.
Right.
Another red flag.
Yeah. To which she says, "Okay."
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
So, and then she says, We're not in danger because of this money, are we?" Of course you are in danger.
Yeah.
You don't just stumble in with...
to hide it.
You are absolutely in danger.
Money gotten legitimately is not worth having sex upon. Because I tell you now, I've never brought home my check and was like, "All right, this is what's
Here it
happen."
is.
That's never happened. But if I robbed a bank and I had like $4,000, like these people had, well, let's get to it, because that's what you do in these situations, I guess. That's what movies have taught me.
So Jack goes back to his place. He gets whacked on the back of the head, and it's Niren.
Mm-hmm.
Niren ties him up, burns his hand with his cigarette, and gives him a wad of butter to make it better.
Right.
So he then reveals...
Quick production note. They got that butter from Seagal's left front pocket.
Here, give him this.
Wait,
does anybody have any butter? Of course,
did the prop guy forget butter? Don't worry, I got it some right here.
I got you covered.
I'd like to snack on it.
I suck on it like a lifesaver.
It's so hot here in Thailand. I like to just gum up this butter.
Nothing like cooling off in the Bangkok heat with a big wad of country crock tucked in the back of your cheek.
Don't tell Batsuck. She hates the smell of butter.
So
her younger sister died in a butter churning accident.
Oh,
all right, on with the movie. Sorry.
Enough butter jokes. Niren then reveals that surprise, surprise, all the money was marked, which let him catch Jack immediately.
Which, you
So
know,
all
that's
that-
not even a real thing, I found out.
No?
Not like marked money isn't even a real thing.
Well, don't like, when like the feds are doing a sting, they'll mark the money so that when they catch him with it, they can look at the mark and say, yeah, this is the money that we gave you.
No. They write down serial numbers and whatnot.
They don't put a little mark on it? That's not
No.
why every now and then I'll get a dollar bill with a weird little purple smudge on the edge. You're like, ooh, this was
No.
used somehow.
That's just me fucking with people.
Damn it.
N-
You
n-
lied
now,
to me,
dude,
Hollywood.
Something to try DIY at your own home, folks. Take $100 bills and just write "marked" on the corner of it.
Mark. Shit, I wonder if this is marked money.
Marked, signed, Batsuck. I'm gonna do that today. I'm gonna go get a $100 bill out of my wallet and I'm gonna put marked Batsuck.
So, Niren then decides that he's gonna get Jack under his payroll, and he's gonna give him a list of banks to rob. And Niren's cut is another 50%. And he said, "You're gonna give me this 50% because the banks I'm gonna lead you to are gonna have way more money than the first one you hit."
Mm-hmm.
So Niren's doing a little sneaky on Seagal, where he knows where Seagal's got his money, so he's gonna steal it.
But he wants half of everything,
Yeah.
including he's taken the first half from the job from Jack already, which was $100,000.
Yes.
Remember these numbers, folks, because they will
Yeah.
not add up at the end.
No, they will not. He also takes a picture of Avalon, so he knows who to use as collateral, just in case Jack gets any funny ideas.
Right. Because let me just think about this for a second. So at this point, Jack has zero money,
Yes.
and the total taken from Seagal right now at this point is $200,000.
Mm-hmm.
By the end of the movie, the total money taken from Seagal is $500,000.
Yes.
Niren's been taking half of every job.
Yeah.
They've done 4 jobs. Those jobs are supposed to get more money than the first job.
Yep.
But by the end, Jack has $1 million in a safe.
Yeah. It's because Seagal told them which words sound better. Well, they got $1 million. Just say it's $1 million. But that doesn't add up. No, it sounds better.
We'll fix it in post.
We'll fix it in post along with the audio.
Get me out of this godforsaken sweatbox.
Give me my pool of butter. I need to replenish. He's like Vader in a goddamn Bacta tank of butter.
Those stupid glasses he was wearing, that wasn't yellow glass on them. It was just thinly sliced butter.
Just absorbing it through the eyes. So
I can't see. Somebody get me my butter glasses.
So Avalon finds Jack beaten up and tied up to a chair. She gets him out, patches him up, and it's at
Realizes
this point where,
that at this point they're in danger.
yeah. So
And
he
what does she
confesses
say?
to her. Well, he confesses to her that they robbed the bank, and her reaction to this is she thinks it's very romantic that he robbed a bank for her.
Exactly. This is romantic.
This chick has issues.
Yes. Especially when we talk about her next interaction. But go ahead.
So, he gets another call from Niren about the first bank that he wants him to hit. He's to hit it on a Wednesday at 2:00. That's what I thought was a question, and it was not.
Yeah.
So, and that there's a petrol station that they're gonna meet off at to make the drop afterwards.
Okay.
And then we another random cut to Seagal, teaching this poor girl how to do some hand-wavy faux martial arts.
Correct.
A scene for absolutely nothing. This girl is learning nothing from what he's showing her. Because it really seems that he's just making her come at him so he can deflect her over and over by pawing at her.
The only thing she's learning is how to avoid puddles of butter on the floor, and how not to take the things can't be like, if it's too good to be true, it probably is. The promise of you becoming a big star and working with this great superstar, this is what you got.
Yeah. So that scene's in there just because it is, because he demanded it.
Correct.
Jack goes and meets up with Greedy Greg,
Right.
Michael Jai White, which I don't know why he's in this.
Me either, because I really
thought he
like
was
him.
what. Yeah, I like him too. I thought he would be way above doing something like this.
Like, to me, it's like, okay, you had Michael Jai White. Why didn't you make him the bad guy?
Yeah,
like, take out Seagal and put him in there, and he'd actually do some real martial arts and shit.
Yes.
And he requires no butter baths.
No convenient pools of butter around for slurping.
No.
So he meets up with Greedy Greg to get some guns. With what money, I don't know. He still has some squirreled away.
I guess.
Even though we've been led to believe that he's penniless.
Mm-hmm.
Then he goes and he tracks down Sam because he needs his partner back. And Sam is sitting there airing all of their business to some girl.
Right.
Just telling him how he's shooting people and all this. Like,
Yeah. As if to say, what's going to happen? Am I going to get shot in the chest? Whoops.
Ooh. So they're getting prepared. Jack is checking out his newly acquired arsenal in the bedroom with Avalon sleeping there on the bed, like doing De Niro in Taxi Driver in the mirror.
Mm-hmm.
Right in front of her. Again, more giant red flags. He comes into the bedroom with his newly bought AR. You're like, oh no, it's nothing. It's better if you don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So,
okay.
Okay.
I brought home some Marlboros if you want them.
So they hit the bank. Sam starts getting a little trigger happy and shoots a guy in the leg, which Jack isn't happy about. They steal yet another very small looking amount of money.
Right.
It's little, and you'd think they could at least get paper to pad out these wads of cash.
Oh no!
But it looks like
a green tinged 2x4.
Each bundle looks like it's maybe 12 bills total, instead of the big 2-inch thick ones that you see in other movies.
I thought for sure some of those little bricks they had inside of there was just a block of wood.
Yeah,
because it just didn't look
possible.
Right. Maybe homeboy that they had Bashir in back of that truck in Sniper. They got him to whittle some money too while he was back there.
So, and I had a thought at this point that they're going around, they're cleaning out these banks,
mm-hmm.
and they're like we clearly see they're small little banks, and Niren has pointed out that they're little banks in very small towns.
We also clearly see that they use the same bank more than once for
yes.
as well.
He just robbed the same bank over and over again. But if it's a small town, small bank, are they just crippling the economies of these tiny towns?
Well, eventually, they wise up. I mean, eventually the cops start showing up, but
by about bank number 4.
Yeah, it ain't for a while yet.
They robbed that same tiny bank 3 times before the cops catch on.
Nobody noticed because all the police were busy securing Seagal.
So Niren, after that job, Niren shows them a special tunnel that they can take to ferry the money in and out of Bangkok. Sam, it then goes into a montage of them doing the other 3 banks. Sam is increasingly shooting more people. And then there's a shot of Seagal pawing on some girl in her lingerie for no reason.
Yes.
Just because that needed to also be in there.
Poor girl.
This fucking guy. These montages that they're making us sit through are not good. And there's several of them.
Not at all.
Just strange shots and then Seagal grabbing some girl.
Right. Which has to be his motive at this point for everything.
Yeah.
Like, he only does movies to get away from Batsuck and, like, touch on women. Because when he's at home, you know, he's in the yurt with Batsuck. And the Falcon's always taking up room in the bed. And it's... Every time he reaches his butter-laden hand across the bed, he gets a talon across it.
You gotta patch that up with some butter.
Does the bird have to sleep in the bed? And then she yells something in Mongolian, and he just turns over unsatisfied.
Now, this is the movie we need to see.
Seagal's home life in the yurt.
Yes. Make that into a reality. I don't care about him being a cop in Shreveport. Show me some real...
It's not Shreveport, it's Jefferson Parish.
Okay.
You've been out of the state too long.
I know.
You don't understand. You're not one of us anymore. Where's the butter?
So, at this point, Jack wants to know when he's done. Niren won't let him out. He's not letting him know who Niren works for. So he's in the dark that he's stealing from Seagal at this point.
Right.
Enter another dumb, no-reason scene of Seagal talking about not eating fish because they're sentient or some shit. I don't even know.
Sentient beings. That's why you just eat butter.
What
Butter's
was
not
that?
alive.
What was that scene? He's sitting there. He's sitting there with the girl that he's groping, and they're looking at the koi pond, and he's talking about how he sometimes feels he shouldn't eat fish because they're sentient beings. What? At any point in these movies with him, does anyone just look at him and go, "What the fuck are you talking about?"
Fish are sentient beings, but I'll kill the shit out of a falcon.
God, I hate that falcon.
I hate that falcon. That son of a bitch. Did we get to the part where Sam bought the Mercedes yet?
That's right next. That's
okay,
the scene
good,
after
I got something
this.
to say about that.
Yeah. So, okay. Seagal sometimes questions eating fish. Moving on.
I question eating fish, but go put on that underwear again, lady.
It could have been a quick cut from Jack and Niren to just Seagal looking at the camera. Sometimes I question eating fish. And then cut to the next scene. It would have made just as much sense. Seagal's thoughts. Sometimes I question eating fish. You know, they seem like good people.
I don't want to eat sentient beings. You mean things that have feelings? No, beans. I don't want to eat red beans, white beans. It's too much protein.
Pass the butter.
Aikido is heavy on the carbs.
So
See, this is why
scene,
I like doing Seagal movies. Because
yes.
It's so fun.
So Sam buys a Mercedes.
Yeah,
Sam buys a Mercedes.
Yeah.
He drives up, and Jack's not happy about it.
Right. So he's not happy about it. Avalon tries to tell him something, and he tells her to be quiet.
Yeah,
And
stay the
it's
hell out
at
of it,
this
Avalon.
point that she gets mad.
Yeah.
I was cool with the guns. I was cool with the bank robbing. I was cool with finding you beaten half to death in the apartment. But you told me to be quiet. And she literally says, fuck you, bring me home.
Fuck you, drive me home on your dirt bike.
Yeah. Like, that's what set her off. Not any of the, bank robberies or romantic. Bring all the guns in the house, do me on this money, but don't tell me to be quiet. I'm a cigarette girl, goddammit.
Respect.
That's right. Slinging Marlboros all day for me to come home and you tell me to be quiet? Throw some money on the bed. I'm stressed.
So they go to the next job, and this time when they go in the bank, 2 of Seagal's men are in there, and they warn them that this is the Saren Siri's money.
I kept thinking they were saying Harry Carey.
Well, Sam says that at one point, making fun of his dumb name. Yeah, he says something to where, like, I don't give a shit if it was the Harry Carey brothers' money.
Well, I'm just thinking I'm thinking not like Harry Carey. I'm thinking like Harry Carey from the Chicago.
Comes where?
Yeah. Hey, friend. If you was a hot dog, would you eat yourself?
There you go.
Yeah.
That's how you make this movie better. Get rid of Steven Seagal and make this guy Harry Carey.
Just Will Ferrell as Harry Carey.
Yes.
I don't eat fish because they're sentient.
Sometimes I question eating fish. Why can't we just have a conversation with him?
You told me my motherfucking money would be safe. Oh, shit. Well, that's...
Just picturing him saying motherfucking money.
I know. Jesus Christ, it's hot in Thailand.
It's at this point they knock out the 2 Saren Siri his little friends there, and that's when the cops finally show up.
Right.
And then they just start murdering some cops.
Yeah, no problem. The guy was totally against shooting somebody in the kneecap, but I will murder every police officer that drives up in a Toyota Camry.
Every one of them gets shot. Quick cut to Seagal on the phone with one of the 2 guys from the bank. Sends in the hitman squad. They show up, so they got to escape. A few bullets whiz by. They get on their bikes and run. And then poor man's parkour takes off after them.
Yeah, extreme parkour ensues.
This was Seagal. You remember that scene in that new James Bond movie with Daniel Craig, where they ran up the walls and jumped off of things? I want to do something like that in this one. I don't think we have anybody that knows how to do that. That's a skill, Steven. What about that guy?
I saw that guy. He can run fast. And he jumped over these butter puddles with ease.
So this guy does 2 parkour moves. And when I say parkour moves, he jumps over a thing and then he slides down a thing.
That was about it.
And that was the equivalent of the opening to Casino Royale.
Yes.
In these people's eyes.
Right.
He then karate chops them off of the bikes a couple of times, and Sam winds up shooting them dead.
Mm-hmm.
So Sam saves them. They get away. Back to Seagal. Now he reveals, now $500,000 of my money's gone.
That's right. My motherfucking money.
$500,000 of my motherfucking money. You told me my motherfucking money would be safe in this motherfucking bank. There's a motherfucking rat, and and this word started springing up at around this point. Farangs.
Yeah. It was also at this point that the accent from before is now non-existent.
Yeah, it's gone. It's just Seagal now. But he keeps calling Jack and Sam Farangs, like we're
Correct.
supposed to know what that is. And from here on out, he refers to them as such.
Right. So I didn't take the time to look it up.
Neither did I.
Okay. Just making sure.
Yeah.
It'll just go on being a mystery because they never explain it in the movie.
No, and shame on them. That's why I'm not going to explain it.
That's right.
So, and it's here where the audio budget really ran out. Because this was the first scene for me where I really started noticing the background buzz whenever anyone would speak.
Yeah. By the way, I know you said you didn't want to explain it, but I'm going to go ahead and explain it. Farang is a Thai word for someone of European ancestry.
Oh, white boys.
Yes, Farang. See?
So by all accounts, Seagal's a Farang.
Easy.
Oh my God. So, Seagal seems to know that it's Niren that's selling him out.
Right.
Because he points a gun at him, and Niren says, "I don't got anything to hide, so you do what you got to do." And Seagal says, "Well, I'm not gonna kill anybody right now, because I need to make sure I don't kill anybody innocent, because he's a drug lord, but he's got a strict moral code."
Well, fish are sentient, so you can't just go killing people.
Yeah, if he's trepidatious about eating fish, it's safe to say that.
If I start eating fish and killing you motherfuckers, I might as well be like the rest of the Farangs.
Wow. So
Once
he
again,
then
why can't they
offers-
hire us to work on these movies, for Christ's sake?
Seagal then offers up to his table of goons $250,000 reward for whoever finds out who the rat is and brings him to me.
Right.
And he puts down a tray on the table and says, I want you to put him on this tray by I forget how long.
By butter 30.
By margarine o'clock.
Oh, shit.
So Niren now knows that, Seagal's on to him. So he's got a new score for Jack to hit, and it's going to be the biggest one yet. And
Right.
Jack then records the phone call with Niren to blackmail him to say that, this is absolutely the last one, because if not, I'm going to let this out there. Your guys are going to know it's you, and then you're going to be dead. So they agree. This was it. So Sam and Jack are driving around the town as they do, and Sam's drinking, and he runs out of drink.
Right.
And he drops Jack off. He says, "Go get me a drink."
Right.
And then
Which
he
I
says,
have to tell you this. When I saw this is today when I saw this part. I made a comment under my breath to myself, and I laughed for 10 minutes straight. Because he goes to the guy and asks for cigarettes and drink and water and all that. But every time he asks for something, he says the word in Thai after.
Yeah.
And the first time he did it, it just right under my breath, I went, "Yeah, Jack talk Thai." And I laughed by myself for 10 minutes. Yeah, Jack talk Thai.
Oh my God.
Just by myself, laughing. Just one of those times where you're just so proud of yourself.
Yeah. So Jack is talking Thai with the merchant. Sam goes around the corner, like he drives around the block back to where they were almost,
Right.
and stops. And some guy comes up to him, and he's talking about, oh, that's a nice car, Sam. So this person knows him.
Right.
And he says, yeah, I'm looking to. He says, I'm looking to party, or I'm looking to get messed up or something. He says
Something.
and then the guy just pulls him out of the car at gunpoint.
Right.
And then it's on. And as confusing of a scene as this was, it's at this point where Sam gets shot.
Right. In the
And
chest.
Sam dies. Yeah, he gets shot in the chest, and that's it for Sam. Jack's cradle him in his arms. He says, I don't think I'm going to make the next job, and croaks.
Right.
So the whole...
It was one of those manly deaths.
I thought they were going to set this up that Sam was going to betray Jack at some point.
Well, like I said, things that should have been cliche and all that, they just said, no, we're going to blaze our own trail here and make no sense at all.
So, yeah, Sam gets killed solely for the reason to bring Avalon into the scheme.
Which, to me, if you wanted to do this, you should have had Sam die on the second job and let her be the one robbing all the banks with him.
Yeah.
See, that's what a good writer would do.
Yeah.
Hollywood.
Nah.
Hire me.
So on the last job, Jack needs a new partner, and he's telling all this to Avalon, like, oh, where am I going to find somebody to rob this last bank with me? He's like, oh, well, they're standing right here.
Yeah.
And she's like, why? And he doesn't want to do it for, many, many reasons, and she just can't believe that he won't let her rob this bank with him.
All he had to say
what-
was, what happens in the thick of it? I tell you to be quiet.
Yes. Because you're all liabilities, that's probably why I don't want you to do this.
Yeah.
So they steal a car, and they're ready to rock.
Which, by the way, stealing that car made me mad. You want to know why it made me mad? Why don't they sell the Ford Ranger in the United States? They got Ford Rangers and Ford Broncos everywhere else in the world, but not here. It pisses me off. Ford Ranger looks pretty damn sweet, doesn't it?
Yeah, it was nice.
It was nice.
They had a nice shot of it broadside once they got out of the car to go rob the bank, and they held on it for a second, like a Michael Bay movie.
Well, you want a car like that, you need to talk Thai.
So before that scene happens, we get a little random kickboxing scene
Yes.
where Seagal goes and meets up with one of the two guys that was in the bank earlier, not parkour guy because he was killed, the other guy.
Right.
And he's got two guys in the kickboxing cage sparring, and a third guy in there like watching them.
Brooding.
Seagal brooding.
Yes.
Seagal comes in with his other right hand man, not Neeran, the other one.
Right.
Comes in and accuses the other guy of of being the rat.
Right.
He then gives him all the reasons why he's not, and you should believe me, I'm loyal to a fault. And Seagal believes him. Like, okay, yeah, you're right. And he says, you got big money on this fight tonight? And he says, yeah, I got money on this fight tonight. And then Seagal goes into the kickboxing ring and knocks out both the kickboxers with one punch.
That's right. Just to
Like-
show any
like
new people
fucking
that
Mo.
thought he don't have it. You think
Yeah.
Seagal don't have it no more? He can do it in one punch. Two people.
Yeah. Like Mo from the Three Stooges. Just pop. Knocks them both dead to rights. Just boom. Knocks them both out. The third guy, arguably bigger than the other two,
Right.
comes stomping up. And Seagal gives him a little listing kick to the solar plexus. And that does him in right there.
Which, if you see this shot is shot from the waist up,
Yeah.
and you assume Seagal kicks him by the way
What it
his
is-
body moved, but you do not see his leg.
What it is, there's a stagehand with a shoe on a broom handle, and he just kind of pokes it up from off screen.
Somebody cue up the wind whooshing sound. I'm gonna kick somebody.
So that shows you that Seagal still got it.
Yep.
Now we go back to Jack and Avalon pulling up to rob the bank. And what's Avalon doing in the car? She's putting on her makeup.
Yeah, that's right.
Putting on her makeup. And Jack's like, what are you doing? He said, well, this might be the only time I get to rob a bank, so I want to look good doing it.
I want to look good for the mugshot after, she said.
Yeah, she says, just in case, I want to make sure I look good for the mugshot.
Right then, I'd have been like, hold on. You don't go into this thing half-assed, lady.
Yeah.
You already thinking we're going to fail?
Yeah.
You know what? Just go ahead and be quiet.
Drive me home.
Drive me home.
So they go in, and she is feeling the pressure right away because there's many slow motion shots of her face sweating.
Right.
Cops show up again. Again, they've caught on to this bank robber game. And again, they just slaughter some more cops.
Right.
Then they cut back to what would have made a perfect Snickers commercial. Seagal, eat a Snickers because you get hungry. You get really angry when you're hungry. Because it's him. He's sitting at his dinner table, letting off motherfuckers left and right.
That's right.
About these GD farangs. And he wants them dead. I want these farangs dead today. And he flips the table over and sheds a tear for the food wasted.
Let me tell you something. That was the weakest table flip I have ever seen. It wasn't even a table flip. It was like...
He just kind of upends it and the food slides off.
It was like when you went to your grandma's house and you ate on TV trays. And you could just kind of push them over. Like, that's what it looked like. And Hungry Man went everywhere.
Oh, that beer battered chicken tenders.
It was a weak table flip. It really was. Yeah. And, do yourself a favor. You can see that table flip in the trailer without having to watch the whole god-awful movie. And you'll see what I'm talking about. It was a nudge and the table went over. Almost as if it slipped in a puddle of butter.
So, post-bank robbery, they're getting away. Jack's been shot. She's wanting to take him to a hospital. He's not having any of that. So they're going to find a pharmacy and get some stuff to patch him up.
Right.
Niren calls to make sure that they don't try to run away with their money. He still wants it. And he sets up a place for them to meet to drop it off. This is when Seagal sends out the hitman on Niren because he's figured it out. He's figured out that it's Niren.
Right.
We cut back to Jack and Avalon. She's patching him up. She's trying to dig the bullet out of his back, which I didn't know what she was doing at first. She was just like putting her hands on his back, and he was screaming.
Well, she was putting a key in there.
Yeah, I couldn't tell what they were doing because, they didn't really frame. They refused to actually show the wound.
Right.
Because all the wound was a red marker. They just dotted on his back.
Yeah, she was trying to dig out the bullet with a key.
Yeah.
Which I have something to say about this, too.
Okay.
Thrice she tries to pull out this bullet. And she can't do it because it's hurting him so much. He then passes out.
Mm-hmm.
Dig out the bullet while he's passed out.
Nah, leave it in there.
Wow.
It'll be fine.
Because you got no resistance then. He's knocked out.
Yeah.
Dig it out.
Yeah. He passes out. The hitmen arrive at Niren's place. He's in bed with his old lady.
But she appeared from nowhere.
Yeah, she comes out of nowhere. He's in bed with her, and he's awake. Mm-hmm. Then The hitman comes up. He jimmies the lock. He jimmies the lock like he's going to break in silently, but then he kicks the damn door in.
Yeah, what was the point of messing with the lock if you're just going to kick the door down?
He kicks the door in, comes in, lights up the bed, killing the woman.
Mm-hmm.
But Niren's not in there. Niren jumps out, cuts his throat from behind.
Right.
Then another hitman, the other number 2 of Seagal, jumps in. And they have another clumsy-ass fight where they're just slapping at each other. He breaks a bottle. He's going to kill Niren with it, and Niren spins it around, stabs him in the stomach, pushes him off screen, and then the next scene we see, he's falling out the window.
Right.
And when I say falling, he's kind of floating down like a feather.
Yeah. The wire work wasn't too strong in Thailand that day. However, when he hits the ground, obscured by objects in the foreground, there's a blood spray when he hits the ground. But the blood sprays before he hits the ground.
Yeah, it's like the second, because it's hidden by, there's a van there, isn't there?
Yeah, something like
and
that.
He falls behind it. The second his body passes the van, it's a fountain of blood.
Yeah. Way off. I wish I could say that's the only thing wrong with this movie, but it wasn't.
Yeah. Every one pass. Everything was done in one pass.
Oh, yeah.
That's good enough. The timing's a little off.
We can't do a take 2. Fish have feelings.
Would somebody think of the motherfucking fish, please? So, the next morning, Jack and Avalon wake up in the truck. They gotta go take care of Niren. Seagal comes in and finds his right hand man's hand in the tray.
Right.
So he knows Niren, got to him first.
That's right.
Parkour friend spots Niren on the way to the meetup and calls Seagal to tip him off. So Seagal rallies the troops to follow him. And when I say he rallies the troops, he gets a young kid and 2 old men.
Right.
And they get in a truck.
They get in this massive truck.
This giant armored-looking truck. The 4 people.
Right.
And that's it. That's the max of his force.
And once again, it was a G's up, hose down situation because of Seagal and the driver and everybody else in back of this massive truck.
Yeah, just standing in the back of this, because it's like a flatbed with a little bit of a railing.
Yeah,
and they're just standing in there.
Yeah, everybody's standing back there, and everybody's got their guns drawn like they're about to go to war. They still got 30 miles down the road to go before they get to the temple. Like, dude, have a seat. Jesus.
So they're on the way there. Niren meets up with Jack and Avalon. He's demanding his money, and Jack's got his arm in a sling, all wrapped up, Godfather 2 style.
Yep.
And that's exactly what happens. Niren comes up, he points a gun at Avalon. Jack straightens his wrapped up arm and pops Niren a couple of times with a hidden gun inside.
Right.
Kills Niren. So let's get out of here with the money. So they get in Niren's car because they need to switch cars.
Right then it was like stupid. They're looking for him too, and you know this. So let's take his car. They probably
know what his car looks like.
What that was is somebody realized that day when they were shooting, they're like, oh wait, if they leave in their Ford Ranger that isn't available in the United States, nobody's going to know who they are. Let them take the dead man's car then.
Yeah, because as they're driving down the road, they pass the armored fortress moving down, and Seagal spots them with his eagle eye.
That's right.
And there's a little slow motion moment where he and Jack connect eyes.
I think it's a falcon eye when it comes to Seagal. What's the Falcon? What's Batsuck's Falcon's name? We'll worry about that later. It's got to have a name.
Yeah. Along the lines of their children, Pig Squeal and Frog Dunk.
Yeah. So yeah, they lock eyes somehow, but
and Seagal says, "That was them in Niren's car. Turn around, let's go get them." And then it's car chase time.
Which, this thing is a massive car. They're chasing a BMW. Mm-hmm. But yet somehow this big truck turns around and gets right behind them.
Yep.
Like, like they teleported.
And they cannot outrun them.
No. Not at all.
The BMW is going top speed. Cannot outrun this truck.
That is until the extras from Wayne's World 2 come out. It is literally the scene in Wayne's World 2 when they're like, well, you know, we're just supposed to walk back and forth with this plate glass.
Yeah.
You got 3 Thai guys with a bunch of explosive barrels just haphazardly in the middle of the road for some reason.
Yeah. Well, we'll get to that part. First, there's a hell of a lot of random firing out windows. So much so that they show the exact same shot of Seagal twice.
Yes. They got confused.
He points his pistol out, and in all the scenes around this, the BMW that Jack and Avalon are in is directly in front of the truck. Mm-hmm. Seagal is sitting in the passenger seat, mm-hmm. which, you know, is the left-hand side because it's in Thailand. Mm-hmm. And he points his gun out the window at like a 45-degree angle, which is not anywhere in front of the truck, and just unloads the whole clip, firing off into the scenery.
Well, he has to do it that way. I'm not leaning out the truck. That increases the chances of my do-rag blowing away in the wind.
So there's a couple shots of that. Then in the wide shots, there's a guy with a machine gun hanging out the passenger side window. Then it cuts back to the interior of the truck, and it's Seagal sitting in the passenger side window with his pistol pointed out.
I didn't notice that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't see that.
There was that little bit of continuity. It's at this point they pass the Wayne's World 2 guys with the explosive red barrels.
Right.
Shoot the red barrels, blocks the road, they get away.
Right.
They ditch the car at a factory, they're going to the river, they're going to get on a boat and escape. Seagal and friends show up seconds behind them.
Correct.
So that little stoppage on the road meant nothing.
Right.
So Seagal and his 3 cronies, this massive force of baddies coming into the warehouse.
Baddies or fatties?
Both in this case.
Yeah, okay.
They corner Jack and Avalon in the back of the warehouse. They're going to get caught. Jack decides he's going to sacrifice himself. And just, Avalon, you take the money and get out of here. I'll hold them off as long as I can.
There's $1 million.
There's $1 million in here. Magically. I'm just going to say there's $1 million in here.
Right.
So you go off and buy a house on an island somewhere and live it up. And she doesn't want to. She's screaming out, no, don't do this to me. And they're Seagal and his 3 cronies are searching the warehouse for him, but they're speaking awfully loud.
Correct.
So, but, you know, Seagal's got butter up to his ears. He can't hear anything.
Exactly.
And also the audio of this movie is shit, so he couldn't hear anything anyway.
Right.
They start exchanging fire. Jack jumps out and takes off a couple of shots. And then Seagal in
not
a
a
miracle
couple of shots. Not a couple of shots. This is the one part that I rewound in this movie. Because I counted how many shots Jack takes with that first clip with that pistol. Mm-hmm. Take a guess.
I'm going to say it's in the mid-20s.
53. Because as the scene's going on, like, I'm watching, I'm like, hold on. That dude's been shooting a shit ton of bullets out of there. So I went back and counted. 53. And then he switched magazines. 53. 3.
Christ. Well, when he first pops out and lets off the first few of his volley of bullets, you see Seagal, in a miracle that could only have been bestowed by God, moved faster than I have ever seen him move. He took cover behind that crate with lightning quick speed. I couldn't believe what I was seeing.
I wish I could say that I thought about this joke before, but it just hit me. I know how they made that happen. They're in Thailand. Okay. So, the director yelled, "Action." There's a little bit of an accent problem. He thought that they said, "Bat suck." And...
Oh, shit.
So they said, "Lights, camera, bat suck." And he hightailed it to get the hell out of there.
That's the best explanation for that. That could
There
ever
it is.
be.
If anything's going to make him move his ass, it's that. And if you look close, you could read his lips saying, "Is the Falcon with her?"
Hide my butter. Flush the butter.
Cheese it, it's the Falcon.
So, Jack runs out of bullets. Seagal comes out of cover, and he does his sniper thing where he starts switching his grips haphazardly again.
Yep.
Jack gets hit, shot in the chest, hits the ground. Avalon comes running back. She's at his side. He's delirious and dying. The audio in this scene was by far the worst in the whole movie.
The only way to properly the only label you could give this level of incompetence with audio would just be to call it Bush League. Bush League audio all around.
That, or they fully intended to redub it in post, and he just refused to come back. I said, "Well, I guess we got to use what we got."
Yeah. No, I'm not doing that again. Why not? Fish are sentient. Live with it.
I'm onto a new thing now. I'm studying fish.
They call it itchyology.
So, Jack dies. He then tells Avalon to leave the money, and he'll let her leave.
No, that isn't what he says. He says,
"Is that what he said?"
"No. Leave the money. Wait. Leave the money and take your life." Or something like that.
You don't even know what the hell he said.
He said, "Leave the money and, keep your life," or something. I can't remember.
Yeah.
It was funny, though.
Because, he's got a heart of gold.
Yeah.
So she runs off, hops the boat and leaves, and he stares off into the distance. So the bad guy of this movie...
Notice he thought, "Damn, that was romantic."
I have to remember that one when I get back to Batsuck. So,
first, I have to tell her what a bank is. Then
I have to explain to her what money is.
She usually deals in cow skins.
We trade skins and figs for falcons. so she gets away. The bad guy of the movie learns nothing, wins in the end because he gets his money back.
Right.
It's then revealed that his name is Gan.
Mm-hmm.
Where she says, "I don't know why Gan, whatever his last name was, let me go, but he did, and now I just gotta live my life as best I can, and I think of Jack every day. All right, roll the credits.
Roll credits. That was it.
The outcome of this movie would have been the same as if when Jack came home with that money and said, it's better if I don't tell you where this came from. She says, okay, that's shady as hell. I'm getting the fuck out of here.
Right.
Same movie. Same ending.
Exactly.
No one needed to sit through the rest of that movie.
All right. So how do you make it better?
I told you. You get rid of Seagal, you put Harry Carey in the motherfucker.
Okay. That's good. I've come up with the whole end sequence where it's better. Okay. So, you'll be able to tell I've been thinking about this through the whole recording. So, Avalon runs away. And Seagal's staring off into the distance. And Harry Carey turns the corner. And he says, hey, I got a package for you. And he throws him an envelope. And when he opens it, it says, I got Netflix, signed Batsuck. And right then, the Falcon comes through. It knocks off his glasses and he's cross-eyed. But that's not the end. You get a slow fade out and then a fade back in. And it's these koi fish. These koi fish belly up in a butter sheened pond. Then you roll credits. And as the credits are rolling, take me out to the ball game. I defy you to come up with a better ending to that movie.
So what? The whole movie was the last fleeting thoughts of these poor sentient goldfish.
Yes, it was.
Before they drowned in a butter bath, to be reluctantly consumed by this walking bowl of pudding.
Oh my god! Oh, I barely made it through that.
when you said it fades out and then it fades back in on two fish. Jesus Christ.
Oh man. Do you realize, okay, I just gave you comedy gold right there. If that was a real movie, you'd make a hell of a lot more money than this movie did.
Oh yeah.
Whew. I started my vision started narrowing as I got to the end of that story. Okay.
The movie. I'm so glad we're not watching another Seagal movie next week.
How can you, dude? Look at what happens when we watch Seagal movies.
Yeah, but you still have to get through the Seagal movie.
Wow. Small price to pay.
Let's have some dinosaurs.
Yeah, that's what we're gonna have.
Some dinosaurs and some good old boys.
I'm actually kind of looking forward to that. That sounds half-ass interesting.
Yeah. And it's half-assed graphics too.
Oh,
from the trailer that I watched.
Well, I don't think that Asian Connection breaks into the top 5 waist to the waist.
You don't?
No. Because what? Okay, go through the list again. What's number 5?
I can't remember what number 5 is. I think we're gonna have to redo the list when we finish next week.
That's what we're gonna do.
Once we finish Cowboys and Dinosaurs, yeah.
Yeah, we'll give a good
reassess the
once-over
list.
to the list.
Yeah, because we next week, the next week's episode is the finale of season 1 of Garbage Theater.
Mm-hmm.
After that, we are going to do a little. It's going to be like a wrap-up special and a prequel to what we have coming for season 2. also, after season 1 wraps, we're going to be presenting everyone with Shark Month.
Correct.
Where we're going to be doing 4 shark movies in a row. We've already got it all laid out. It's going to be a blast. We have some surprises along the way.
Yes.
It's going to be a good time.
Yes, it is.
So be looking for that. It'll be a little mini special episode in between season 1 and Shark Month, which will probably be up the week after the finale next week.
Right.
But until then, we got one more to go, and we'll see who wins season 1. Even though I have a feeling who's going to win season 1, because of math.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's mathematically impossible for me to win unless we're going by Asian connection rules. Yeah. Which means that I have a huge lead right now. Yeah. That's okay.
A huge lead right now, and then you get to make up the final number on the spot.
Yeah, season 2 is my season.
Okay.
I'm a late bloomer.
We'll see. So, on that note, folks, check out Cowboys versus Dinosaurs, or Dinosaurs versus Cowboys. I forget which order it is already. Yeah. It's one of those.
Or don't.
Google, or don't. Again, no one's making you watch these things. We're the ones making each other watch these things. So, yeah.
Yeah, now the depression hits again.
Yeah. We rode the high. Now it's time to go back to the low.
Yeah.
And have to watch this damn movie.
Well, all right.
It is what it is.
Yeah. I'm a little upset that we don't get to watch the goal, but I welcome the Cowboys and Dinosaurs.
Yeah. I think it'll be a nice, lighthearted way to end the season.
A hoot nanny.
Yes. And then we'll get to some serious business with Shark Month, which I'm also very much looking forward to.
Yes, good times will be had by all.
Yes. So, until next time, folks.
Thank you for listening to Garbage Theatre. To get the latest episodes, please subscribe on iTunes and like us on Facebook at facebook.com/garbagetheatre. You can also listen to Garbage Theatre anytime, anywhere on Stitcher Radio on Demand. Download the free app today.